And we're live.
Tony the Tiger. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, can we set? You just
we can. I don't care.
Something cool.
Yes, I think we can say we're live. No one saw that. We probably won't. I probably won't repeat it too many times.
We're live. Is anyone there?
Oh, man.
Tony.
Yeah, Mark would love to sometime though. What's up, audience? On
Hey, everybody.
things.
Oh, what should we listen to while we're
Hello.
doing this?
Is
Lionel
it
Richie?
me?
Yeah, some Lionel Richie. Let's hear it. Let's hear it,
Lionel
Fitz.
Richie.
Is it me you're looking for?
People don't realize that in the early '80s, Lionel Richie was freaking huge. It was Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and then down here was Prince. Everyone thinks it was between Michael and Prince were the top two. Lionel Richie was huge in the early '80s, and people forget about that. Because I'm old, I do remember that. But yeah, him and Michael were like the two guys, and Prince was like, maybe third or fourth down the list.
Wow.
In their category, I'm saying,
Wow.
The Dave Chappelle skit with Prince, and it's one of the Charlie Murphy ones, and it's just like Charlie Murphy telling the story of going and playing basketball at Prince's house, and the skit is just so funny. It's just Dave Chappelle dressed as Prince, hanging from a basketball hoop, being like,
just
So
mugging.
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I think Kevin Smith also had a big thing about the time he worked with Prince, and that guy is interesting.
I bet.
Dave Chappelle's actually at the Scotiabank Center in Toronto right now. A friend of mine's going to see him, so he's actually performing
Oh,
live
really?
in Toronto right now. Yeah, Chappelle.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
that's what I heard. Yeah. So he's
No.
down. He's just down the street from us, just up the road, eh?
You know,
The
I
road, eh?
remember the Dave Chappelle joke
Right
of like,
there.
Hey?
the Dave Chappelle joke of like, I want to be so famous that I could walk up to someone in a bar, pull out my dick, and put it on his shoulder. And instead of him being like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, yo, guys, you'll never guess whose dick is on my shoulder right now. That guy is Dave Chappelle for me. If Dave Chappelle put his dick on my shoulder in a bar, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm texting my friends, taking a selfie with his penis. That would be me.
If you send it to your wife, you'd be like, technically this is a dick pic, but it's not mine.
Not mine.
Yeah. Or
No
dick
level
Oh, they
of
have to be
fame.
yours. I send them to people all the time. I didn't know it had to be yours to qualify as a dick.
I'm pretty sure half the time it isn't theirs.
Yeah.
So, Greg,
Did
you're
you-
just sending pictures of
Yeah.
other people's penises around the internet?
Did you ever see
There's-
that Magic the Gathering tournament where a guy went around and took pictures of all the butt cracks?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's classic.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
it was pretty funny.
Speaking of Magic the Gathering, I dug through my old collection because I sold all my really powerful stuff about 4 years ago, all my dual lands. And then I said, all the good stuff is gone. But I went through the collection and I looked at the new prices because of COVID, a bunch of stuff has gone up in value like crazy.
Mhm.
And I found thousands of dollars. Like for here, like these ones
Nice.
randomly here. You know what this one is? Academy Rector. I don't know if you know what this one does. I got 4 of them, and they're worth like over 100 American a piece. I
Wow.
found this one, Cabal
Damn.
Coffers, and it's foil. It's worth 250
Mm.
American. This one, Yawgmoth's Will. It's like 300 American. I just got so much cash.
Wow.
Oh, this one, cash,
I
cash.
just got so much cash.
So I'm gonna sell it all and make a short film is what I'm thinking of doing. So
I think that's fantastic. If you funded a short film by Magic cards, that'd be
my
really
should
first
also
short
be
film, Family
a short
Game Night,
film
was formed
about
with that.
Magic.
With my first set, yeah.
Hmm.
No,
Maybe
I'm
a
not
short
gonna make it
film
about Magic.
Magic.
No,
About
never.
Magic together.
So it's just
I'll
going to
think
be
about
you selling your cards? Is that going to be the film?
could be.
But
No,
then
I'm
it
gonna-
could be
I could
like
see
your pain and your struggle as like you're selling them, but then you're like, no, I can't. I need to
See,
keep
this
them.
is why I can't work in a writer's room, man. You know, just everyone's got their ideas. No, these are all good ideas. They're all good ideas.
Oh, man.
He's like, I
But
won't
actually,
use them.
I think I have a
They're good
script in
ideas.
mind that I'm gonna do. But
Pins are like assholes.
Nice.
Everybody has
What?
one.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
No, I'm just being obnoxious. They're all
Yeah.
wonderful ideas. Sorry, guys.
Oh, should we do this?
We should probably do the actual thing.
The thing we're
Actual
talking about.
recap?
Yeah, the actual recap of session 6.
Is that what?
Man, 6 sessions. What?
Yeah. There's probably going to be 10 to 20 more.
Yes. Yes.
So get
For-
ready.
Just for this quest line, like major overall quest line. Then there's other ones that it can lead into if everybody's still alive. There's other ones that it can lead into that might be fun
Nice.
as well.
If
everyone's
everybody's
still alive, of course
suddenly
they'll
I'm
still be alive.
I'm a little nervous now.
I could see myself doing a survival death save, and then at the same time Kobe punching me, and then that's something that worries me a
Also,
little bit.
Waterdeep
Cookie,
can be
you are
dangerous. A lot of
Xenocobies
times.
is-
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, Cookie, you are correct. Xenocobi's usually here. She will be for the game. She can make the summary. So,
Yeah.
Greg, what are you saying?
It's not so important that everybody makes this one, but the most dangerous thing in Waterdeep actually is probably the law, because if you do anything, even if you're kidnapping, I don't know, a noble for whatever reason, right?
It's in the pond.
That's death if the law catches you.
The
Wow.
law, really?
So
Yeah,
the
but-
most dangerous thing in this city is probably the law.
But
It's
what
in
if
our
you're with the
handouts,
Lord-
guys. It's in our. Read the handouts.
Yeah, it's
No,
like-
I know. What if you're in the Lord's Alliance? Are you then like a little bit exempt, or like
so Lord's Alliance can only go so far, but yeah, it definitely helps.
okay?
It's like
if-
politics. It's like anything else.
Yeah,
But,
like
if you murder a
trespassing,
noble-
they'll probably be like, meh, whatever. If you're on Lord's Alliance duty, but like killing someone, Lord's Alliance will be like, okay, we're gonna give you the best defense and all that. We're gonna put in a good word, but at the end of the day, if you really killed someone,
Damn,
boom.
guys, we should be careful like who we kill in the game.
There might be other alliances,
That's
other
what
guilds
I
and
said.
stuff that can help you out, though.
That's the thing. Like, if they pay you a lot of money for the job, it probably means like they have a lot of like they'll cover you, you know. But if they're offering you like 30 gold to kill someone, guys, like
It always
I'll
comes
do
back
it.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alpha's still hurting that we
Yeah.
killed that guy.
Where did we start last time? We started where the last session ended, which was you just took out the Drow gunman, right?
Oh yeah.
Took
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah, that is where we started.
And you did what you do. You strip him naked and stuff him into a bag.
Yeah. Which killed
Yes. That's
Well,
correct.
we also kept his stuff.
Possible.
Armor. We all have his stuff.
him.
Yeah, we have his stuff.
You do have his
We
stuff.
put him into Xena's bag of holding. Do it for cookies. And then we took a carriage up to the market district, and then Fitz was like, "Oh, can we stop in the market district?" And everyone was like giving him beef, and he was like, "I just
Like,
need to
we
buy a
literally
hat."
have a dead body, and you want to go to the market.
Right, buy a hat." But you know,
Right.
it was the time and day at which Fitz was supposed to deliver his father's letter to a guy at a hat stand.
No. My favorite
we
part
didn't
of
want
that.
to let you do it without watching everything that you did, because you
Yeah.
said you wanted to go buy a hat, and we're like, no, that's not
Yeah.
happening. You're going to be completely.
Right.
We're chaperoning, supervising,
You
stalking.
also already had a hat.
Yeah. My favorite part is when Alpha goes, maybe I want to buy a hat. You know, I want to go buy, and you're like, I literally own a clothing store. I'll get you a hat. And then she's like, well, if you own a clothing store, why do you need to go buy a hat?
Yeah, there's some good singers. Yeah.
I do appreciate Fitz's attempt for efficiency to wanting to deliver the letter and carrying the body, but
I mean, it was, you know, the clock struck whatever, and it was time for the letter to be delivered. Like, you know, he's an obedient son.
we still don't know what the contents of that letter are.
No, Fitz tried to read it, but he couldn't because it was a different kind of code than his dad usually uses. But yeah, so then we go to deliver the letter. That goes well, but then the hat guy, the dark elf with a hat stand who takes the letter, gives it to this runner, and then Alpha starts chasing the runner, and then Greyhide starts chasing Alpha, and then Fitz gets back to Xenocobi and is like, hey, where is everybody? And she's like, fuck you. This is your fault.
I mean, that's in it, Kobe.
Fair, yeah. And then
Her new
yeah,
name
that-
is Punchy McPuncherson or whatever.
Was that it,
Yeah.
Punchy McPuncherson? Punchy McGee.
Something, it was along those lines.
Oh yeah, Punchy McGee. Is that what it was?
Maybe.
I forgot what Greyhide decided on that.
Or McPunchington,
Punchy.
something.
McPunchington has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a surname, though. It's like the first name would be Punchy, and then McPunchington.
I feel that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Punchy sounds like a name for a kinku.
Punchy bastard.
Yeah. Or punching bastard.
Oh, I thought of another Kinku name today, because... Oh, yeah.
There's
Eventually there's
bound to be
going to be
more.
a sneaky bastard. There will be a sneaky bastard, but that's similar to tricky bastard, but we got kinky bastard right now. I think
Do you think there's 7 of them?
7
so. The 7 Kinkus. Oh.
Wait, like
That's what my short film is going to be about. 7 Kinkus. It has to be.
Yes.
That's a short film that a lot of people will not get.
Fitz and I get to be a kinku each.
I love it. Can I be Kinky Bastard? I feel like that one's me.
Kinky Bastard doesn't even exist. It's a name you guys made up.
Well, Creepy Bastard wasn't nice, so Kinky Bastard was. We felt that was, more kind, which we will get to. So then Alpha follows the sewer guy, Greyhide follows Alpha, Xenocobi and Fitz follow Greyhide. We all get to the sewer and agree to go down there.
That's a very big Scooby-Doo image right there.
Yeah.
There should have been a montage music.
There should have.
And then there was another one of my favorite lines, which is Greyhide being like, "Yeah, why don't I also find a side quest to waste 5 minutes? Maybe I should go sharpen my axe." And from the distance, "Hey, yeah, come buy an axe. We're an axe store."
Like, oh, great.
That was really funny. So then we go to the sewer. We find an elderly again. Yeah, which Greyhide was so happy about. And then we
Greyhide, we established a new pillar of Greyhide's character that he does not like the smell of poo and does not like going into.
To be fair, he doesn't like the smell of poo, vagrants, or anybody who's lower class.
Yeah, anyone who's lower class, absolutely.
Well, basically, it's all poop.
To me, it's like, methinks the paladin doth protest too much, because weren't you a sheep farmer?
That's why he left the trade.
Right.
He was like, I've had enough of this sheep dung. I'm going to go to paladin school.
He was actually quite traumatized and by the sounds of the... Do you know that when a lamb is slaughtered, it sounds just like a human, and that has haunted Greyhide his entire life?
Do they go, ah?
That's a reference to a famous pop culture movie that I thought you would get.
Really? I don't.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is all about the main character. She grew up on a sheep
I haven't
farm
seen
and was
that in
horrified.
so long.
You're gonna hate me. I never saw that movie.
Yeah.
You don't really watch horror, do you, Greg?
No, but that's more thriller, right?
Yeah, it's a thriller, but it borders on horror for sure.
Mm-hmm.
True. Well, it's like thriller for a lot of it, and then it goes like, okay.
But some of the
Kinda
scenes
like
are quite frightening. Yeah, it's the suspense is excellent.
It's a little it's like very disturbing.
Yeah.
Like psychological horror.
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins really stepped up his career. Like he was always thought of as a great, solid leading actor, but in that role, it was he was next level stuff.
Anything dark.
Yeah.
Including dark elves.
Oh.
Greg is a paladin. He hates everything dark. He's all about lightness and justice.
That's
Greg is an example of a paladin.
Yeah, I don't even like Shakespeare that much. Even though I can easily see how good his writing is and his stories are.
As an actor, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I think Shakespeare is... I think he's a little overrated because there are other writers of that time, like Moliere from France, for instance, who is less verbose and actually hilarious. Whereas Shakespeare, I find he's just a little... His language is a little too flowery and, just...
Camera shy.
Like this, right?
Yeah.
He's, it's a little, self-indulgent, whereas Moliere is freaking hilarious, and he's like he's about a century apart from Shakespeare. But that's my opinion.
Rena says, "You shut that dirty lips," and sacrilege. I like Shakespeare. So, I mean, you're right that like some of Shakespeare is, I think, really fun and really funny and really poignant. But also, I've heard that like the British were like trying to resurge their culture, and they're like, okay, we need one classical artist who's gonna be like our guy. And they're like, well, Shakespeare's pretty cool. He wrote plays for the Queen. He was pretty patriotic. They were like, okay. So then, like, Shakespeare's work has just been better marketed than any other artist from that time because the
I have
British
performed
resurgence of
Shakespeare. I
tourism.
like Shakespeare. I've last Shakespearean play I did, I think, was The Tempest, but that was a long time ago. But I mean, I can do Shakespeare. I just think he's the worst writer who ever lived, and he's terrible. And,
There's plenty of writers I can
kidding.
respect, and I think they're great writers, that I actually hate their stories. Like Victor Hugo's another one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is so good.
He's magnificent.
But when I read the end of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I threw the book across the room. I hated it.
Wow. What happens at the end?
I don't want to spoil it. You know, it's just came out. Someone may have not seen it yet.
Fair
But
enough.
it's the Hunchback guy. He goes to the grave of Esmeralda, who he liked, and basically dies hugging her.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Beautifully sad.
I didn't know that part.
And Les Miserables, even that, it's like, yeah, the guy gets his vindication at the very end, but he lives like a miserable life throughout the whole entire thing.
Very
until the last
unexpected that
second
he
of
lives
his
a
life.
miserable life in the book. I mean,
Well,
Okay,
I think
wait,
he,
wait. Did you read-
I only know the
did you
musical
read-
more than anything. I haven't read the book Les Miserables. I've seen the music.
The
I know the
book?
musical by heart, though.
I thought the book was amazing.
yeah.
Because I think that it has
couldn't finish
everything in it. You have like adventure, you have like intrigues, there's like history, there's like overtimes. I don't know, just like a whole, like, it's a big epic.
Well, the
And
unabridged
I
one,
think-
Victor Hugo goes on rants about stuff that's happening at the time and stuff that the abridged ones usually take out. But it's
No, I read like the whole like 3,000 page thing. It was like, it's very like the big. I mean, depends what edition, how big the font is printed, but like you're looking somewhere between like 1,700 to 3,000 page, depending on like the book edition. But it is very good. But I do understand it is like it's a journey. Like it's a.
As a guy who
It's a
reads
big
mostly
journey.
memes, I'm quite impressed by that. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I read it also. I also read it in French.
well, you know.
What?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you Canadians.
What?
You know the actual the one I actually liked of him the most is one that a lot of people probably don't know about, or at least it's not his major book. Is 94.
I have
Yeah.
heard of it. I have not
Yeah.
yet read.
That's actually my favorite one of his.
What is 94?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
I know,
basically the French-English War, and it's you know the democratic to a fault French and the authoritarian to a fault England, and all the things that went onto that and their philosophies of the two generals fighting, and they end up respecting each other so much that one ends up sacrificing himself for the other at the end.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, I might read that. That's pretty cool.
Just a little thing back to Les Mis for those who haven't read the book. I love the musical. It is vastly different from the book in terms of stories, even, and who the characters are.
What focuses on?
By sheer
Because Eponine
some
is
charac-
more important is a lot more important in the book, I believe, right?
And also, some characters have a different role, actually, just because of the sheer length of the novel and like the journey they go through, and they want to integrate these characters, so they kind of changed. It didn't bother me because it's just a different medium, and the story
Totally, yeah.
You know, so that, but it's just interesting to note like that some characters just go through somewhat of a different journey if you've done both. But I like both. But anyway, I didn't like the with Anne Hathaway Hugh Jackman musical. I didn't love.
I was about to say, isn't that the best one?
It wasn't very. It was. They acted their way through most of the songs. It was decent acting, but it wasn't very musical. I think But
I actually really like Hugh Jackman.
The actual
I
music.
generally really like Hugh Jackman.
I like Hugh Jackman too. I didn't love him or Russell Crowe for this particular project. But
Russell Crowe couldn't sing at all. But I did like that movie actually. I liked the movie version.
I saw it
think
on stage once, and it was pretty badass.
Yeah, the
But-
stage when they have the right vocalist for those.
The Miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it on the stage too. Actually,
I
it came to
sometimes
Miami.
use that if we go into a revolution and I have to start my own country and I become president of this new republic, that I would make our national anthem "Do You Hear the People Sing" from Les Miserables, because it's just such an anthem of human spirit. If you were in an army and you heard an army coming over the hill singing that song,
I know.
everybody else would just scatter. No, screw it, these guys. They have something to fight for. Let's get the fuck out of here. No, and we.
I
Well,
know.
these paid soldiers are just like, wow, these guys really, they really got their hearts into it. Yeah, I'm gonna.
And
go
we're
for
just
coffee.
fighting for a paycheck and
I think we
rations.
just
Now,
lost
screw it.
everybody under 30 too, but that's beside the point. I'm joking.
Hey, virtual
We're still
chat.
talking about musicals. Oh no, this is great. So people are talking about.
I love musicals though.
Yeah, me too.
Not a lot of people are commenting on this stuff. So
I
let's
will
change
say
the
that
subject to,
Oftentimes, I like the music more than the musical itself. Like, I'd rather just get the music.
Fair. Then the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
I like a good musical, but there's plenty of ones that I don't like. But I love a great music.
Like, I love opera, but I'm not a fan of... I like operatic music. I'm not a fan of opera. Like, I'll listen to someone like... what's his name? Pavarotti before I actually watch an opera.
Pavarotti? Yeah,
Pavarotti, right.
Yeah.
Not the
that's
people who
okay.
follow people.
Yeah,
I love it when modern musicians work opera sounds and opera tones into their music. Like there's a song that's just like this French aria in the beginning, and then it gets all like dark and rock, but then it goes back to the aria intercut. I love that kind of stuff.
Band Muse does that quite a bit, or they integrate Chopin into like heavy rock and stuff like that, and it's just glorious.
Metallica did a classical. It was an opera, but they did a classical album at some point too.
I like Nightwish. Have you ever heard Nightwish?
No.
It has a very good operatic singer. She ended up winning on her own, named Tarj or something in Norway, I think. But she's really good. The problem is I hate growlers in those music. I'm probably losing people by saying it, but because it's like so nice operatic music, and then suddenly you hear the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if that came through with my noise canceling.
No, it did. That was hilarious.
Pretty good.
Guys, should we keep some?
Oh yeah, back to our recap.
Oh yeah. So, anyways,
Oh yes, the recap.
we were going through the forest. No,
No.
going through the sewers.
Viewers.
It
Yeah.
smelled
Greg,
like
you're
poo.
getting some.
Yeah.
You're getting some love for Nightwish.
Oh yeah.
Nightwish. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love
Love Paul.
Tarj from Nightwish. They ended up replacing her with someone else that I don't think was nearly as good, and even the band said they'll never be able to replace that original singer because she was so good. She had like a huge range as well. It was crazy.
Nice.
But yes, and he is correct when he said squirrel.
So they're in the sewers, and then they stumble on this guy who yells,
Again.
who calls out in dark elf language. So then Fitz is like, oh my god, there's only one way for this guy to trust me. And he pulls off his ring and reveals his identity. And then everybody gets mad, and Xena Kobe punches him.
To be fair,
And-
I think just Xena got mad.
Fair, yeah. Well, Alpha was also just like, why are you doing this now?
And my favorite part is like, why are you mad? I'm an elf. And she's like, why would you ever pose as a human?
And then she punched you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she punched me. Then we go in and find the room is Greyhide uses his paladin skill to unlock doors to open a secret door we couldn't find, which was
That's it.
Throughout
That's
the
a
wall.
Greyhide skill,
Yeah.
not a paladin skill. But
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Thaumaturgy, and which has a bunch of strange abilities in it, like that you can use. And I decided I want to make a point of using one, and I was thrilled to get the opportunity to open that door. It's like,
yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
Someone said that they I was eating lunch with someone who watches the stream, and I feel like a politician now. They're always like, oh, I was talking to a family. No, but I was eating lunch with this guy who watches the stream, and he was like, man, I think thaumaturgy should be a bit more mystical with all these things happening. And I thought, how funny would it be that if thaumaturgy just randomly picked one of the bullet points each time? Because it can do like 4 things. How funny would it be if it just randomly does each one? So you have to just keep doing it until you get the right one. And you just start
It's
loud
the Russian
voice.
roulette of powers.
What's
Paul,
Sonic
I don't
drinking?
know. Xenokobi
That's
was
it's a
also
general
punching
it's a
Greyhide,
general
so I
list
don't
of
know.
about 7 abilities
Yeah.
I can do right now that are unrelated. One of them is the door
Oh.
opening thing. I don't want to. And one of them, I'm not going to tell you all of them, but one of them I can make my
Okay.
voice boom loud, or I can make the
Yeah.
ground shake a little bit. But there's a few other ones. That are
Cool.
cool.
Yeah, so
It's
imagine
almost
those just
like
happen
you're just
randomly.
like you're a paladin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Almost
just
a
like
little
you
bit of
have
a
ground
Sith
shake.
Lord. They're kind of Sith Lord abilities, I
Just
think.
from
Yeah.
random
A little bit.
gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I could
Yeah.
let's say I think I could use them to sort of intimidate. Like, let's say we're having a conversation with someone. I can make a noise come from behind them to intimidate them, or make them think they're in a
Yeah.
haunted house type of thing. Like, there's little things I can do like
It
that.
distracts them.
You can do some basic
Distractions,
ventriloquism.
intimidate, all sorts of stuff. So it's like, now that I got the stealthy boots, I want to figure out ways to use that a little
And
bit. for
to be
storytelling.
clear, it's not
Nice.
really a paladin thing. It's definitely a Greyhide thing. It's not something a standard paladin.
Yeah,
would
it's
have.
it's sort of the path of paladination that
Interesting.
I've gone down. So
Mhm.
yeah, like
That is curious.
Because if you notice, he also
Yeah.
has another one he's used twice, which creates like this giant, like bell sound above a character. It goes dong, and it causes like damage to people
Yeah.
around it.
Mhm.
That's also not a standard paladin thing.
Yeah, that was
So it's a little bit of a Sith Lord vibe going on. Like I'm a
Oh,
maybe a dark, and I do a lot of this sort of stuff when I do it.
Do it.
Do it.
yeah, that makes anti-paladin.
I might do
Greyhide,
that
hot
right.
take. Paul thinks you're an anti-paladin that does not uphold the law. How do you? What is your rebuttal to this?
Oh, is that Paul?
Rebel.
I think that's some interesting observations. Like, I think he's kind of new at being a paladin, and he's sort of fresh out of school and finding himself, and sort of he's sort of driven by his own impulses. Like, he's got a thirst for danger, which I don't know. That's sort of doesn't make him a great paladin, but that's kind of what he's learning about himself. So maybe he will go down that road. Who knows? We'll see
I mean,
what
it makes
things
him a
take.
great Greyhide, even if it doesn't make him a great paladin.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
You just make sure he doesn't run into his like paladin master. or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I don't know if I should say it, but it's probably okay. I was actually, after you talked about it a little bit, and I was planning to kind of throw in there some points possibly where Greyhide could question things,
Mhm.
and think if this really is the right thing.
Hmm.
So, but that's going to be
Interesting.
for later, because we have plenty of time for all these things to come up. So,
True.
I had an idea, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Dang.
Yeah, that's intriguing. I'm intrigued.
So yes,
I
I used my
like
powers
getting
to
a
open
little,
this door.
Oh, yeah.
And, I went into this room.
and then
I forget
and
what was
then
in
there's
there.
nobody in the room,
Great.
but then Fitz finds this carving on the ground of this female figure, and he recognizes it as the goddess who gave him his powers. So he's kind of choked up, and then he's like, "Hey, listen, if you're listening, like, this is my goddess too. We're on the same team, guys." And then this elderly, disheveled-looking dark elf like climbs out of a cupboard and is just like unfolding himself, and he's like, "Hmm." And turns out he lives underground, passing messages, but really didn't know anything.
No,
So
he's
then-
just a middleman, and he passes messages on to the Underdark, as he found out.
Yeah.
To Mezzo something. Mezzo, that's what people call it for short.
Yeah, Mezzo Baron.
Yeah.
Also, Brandon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Damn you people who read the Dreads book.
I've read Judge's books already.
Yeah. So then they talk to him. They realize like he's a nice guy, but he doesn't really know anything. So they leave him alone and trudge
was,
back through the sewers.
Elixon.
Oh, and then at one point, like Fitz like shoves them against a wall to intimidate him,
Oh yeah.
and then gets them to pull out the corpse and is like, "Who is that dark elf?"
And that's one of the best lines in the whole thing, because when that happens, he's like, "What did you do to him?" And Greyhide just immediately says, like, "Oh, we killed him and stuffed him in a bag." Just like, that's what you do.
Yeah, as one does. Yeah. Puff
Yeah.
Daddy, what's up? We're summarizing.
Puff
We're
Daddy.
recapping. we're
Recapping last Thursday.
Recapping.
So then we get out of the sewer, we get back into the carriage, and then we went to the yawning crevice to
The gaping chasm.
The gaping chasm.
gaping chasm. Yeah.
Fits with names.
Yeah.
That's what they were telling.
Was
Yes.
that a Fitz one?
Yes.
I thought that was kind of everybody or something. But
That one's everybody, although Fitz is generally terrible with names.
is that
Like,
because
that's actually a
Mike is
character
bad
choice.
with names, or is Fitz bad with names?
Like,
Maybe both are bad with names.
Yeah.
Definitely both.
I actually am too, so that's why I have to make sure I always write them down. And when I forget one, I'm like, no, I have to go look it up.
See, that's cool that you like write it down and look it up when you forget. When I forget, I just start with the first
Just go with
syllable
it.
and then just make up some other things.
Yeah.
Fashion
he's
memory,
also our
baby.
he's also our DM, so if you didn't have the info somewhere,
I could just make it up.
you'd be lost. He could. He is
Ooh, sorry.
God, basically.
So
in this.
Oh,
a little
you are
secret:
correct.
half of what you guys do, I make up. Just like because I can never predict everything you're gonna do, right? So
That's true.
a lot of it is just made up. It's like
That
I
makes
know
it
the
even
general
more-
stuff. I know what it was supposed to do, so I can. It's not like I'm making it up from scratch. There's guardrails.
Nobody
But-
could nobody could expect you to plan that. We would have kept Kinku with us for like 3 episodes.
Right.
Right? Yeah, that's not normal.
Or even
Uh,
I don't know why I didn't think of it. Like even follow the guy. Like that had the
Yeah.
letter.
Well, that's what I'm
True, yeah.
saying. We should maybe do with the guy who could lead us back to Kira if we decide to go down that route. Because the Kinku,
Yeah.
that's where he's gonna go. He's just gonna go back to wherever his tires
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
That's
wait,
what they,
wait.
that's
But
what
they don't
do.
know that yet.
Yeah,
We
that
haven't
didn't
gotten the
happen
message
yet.
in the recap.
That's true. So
Oh
next,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, you went to the gaping
That's
chasm
good.
or the yawning
Mhm.
portal, and
Yeah.
you went to Davil, and you got him to go into a separate room up on the second floor, and you
Yeah.
immediately try to threaten him too, but he easily sidesteps it and just like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, that Davil is like, I know that he's a bard,
Davil?
but he is a badass bard. Like he's seen some things, maybe done some as well. But yeah, so then he is not intimidated by Fitz, and Fitz bumps into the wall and is kind of embarrassed. So then they pull out the corpse, and Davil's like, oh yeah, I don't know, but he's got a gun, and that's a Luskin thing. And we're like, oh yeah, the other Dark Elf said that. And then Davil's like, okay, I'll tell you if we have any information. Bye.
That was, by the way, for anybody who's been following, he's sort of, well, he's an elf that,
A
we
Zentarum,
did a, yeah,
Zentarum agent.
Yeah,
we did a
elf.
job for wanting to
high
join
level gangster bard.
their alliance.
Yeah. Yeah, so he did that, and that was what his mission was. The whole thing that started the drow gun guy, because he said go stop the one that was killing elves in the docks, and
Yeah.
you found out it was a drow doing it that you killed and stuffed in a bag until he died.
And then was it him who told us that that the guys are from a boat that
Yes, it was Davil. He wasn't going to tell you, but you convinced him to tell you that there is a rumor of a Luskin who had recently come into the city.
Yeah.
That was drow. And then I misspoke and said it was across the sea. And after doing a little bit of research, I realized that if I ever gave you a map, you'd be like, "Hey, Luskin's right north." So Luskin's actually about 600 miles north of the city along the coast.
Ooh, that's a bit of a hike. Wow.
Yeah, it's not close
600
still.
miles. Wow.
Yeah,
You still have to
I
take
could
a
probably
ship
take a boat. Yeah,
for the most part, unless you want to walk for a very long time.
Yes.
I believe Greg, you described it as it's
Another
like
city.
Pirate Canada.
Yeah, it's
Pirate Canada.
it's Pirate Canada. It's a pirate town, but cold.
We're here to steal your ship, eh?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So then Davil gave them a bit of a lead towards the ship full of dark elves posing as humans that are pirates from Luskin. and then they went back to the manor to rest because a lot of them
were almost dead. Yeah,
almost
Oh,
dead.
he also paid us, and we also joined the
Zentarum. And you realize that you should never admit to him that you're also part of Lord's Alliance.
Lord's Alliance.
Didn't really get along.
They don't get along, which we haven't. They do not know.
Yeah.
That we
I'd
are.
like to say that was a gray hide foobar, but that was actually more of a Mark foobar. I was just, absent-mindedness.
Well, not Gray. Alpha was like, and after he left, like, I think we should keep the fact that we're part of the Lord's Alliance secret. And Grey's like, oh, I was about ready to tell him.
Yeah, and then he also gave us our next mission, a very simple thing to pick up some
Potions.
mind control potions and drop them off to a purple cloaked woman.
Did you do that before? You did that the next day, right?
We did that the next day after our visitor.
Yeah, so you.
Oh,
went
that's
back.
right. We got it. We had a good night's. A lot happened this one. Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
no, a lot
We had
did
good
happen,
night's
especially
sleep.
near the end. So you went,
Yeah.
and in the morning you heard knocking on the front door, and someone asking for Greyhide.
Yeah.
And then you
So
guys
we
said some
come down in our
stuff.
pajamas.
Yeah, you came down in your pajamas. Greyhide, how did you explain your pajamas were? The little, what do you call it in the
Alpha
back?
doesn't
The
wear
little
pajamas.
trap door in the back
Yeah.
that may or may not have been fully buttoned up. So
Right.
I probably
sleeps
buttoned them
fully
up
armored.
coming down the stairs.
Buttoned up.
That's right.
One can only hope. Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Because
funny
then everybody
it
else
was,
would be like, "Greyhide, Usually that's my thing, right? But
the figure, long cloak covering the face, long hooded cloak covering the face, asked for Greyhide, and everybody was replying, and then Mark's like, "Am I there?" And then it was like, "Yeah."
yeah, I thought
And
like
then
I was
you
like,
replied.
okay, I was at the door. Yeah.
Yeah, which actually was probably the first clue, and that may have been why you guys actually found out a little secret sooner than later, was because otherwise, if it was actually that person talking, they would have been like, "Oh, Greyhide, you're right there, right?" But instead, it wasn't until Greyhide said he was Greyhide that it said the rest of it. So, so Greyhide, you said you're there, and then it went on a little tirade about. I shouldn't say tirade, but it went on. It had a message saying, "Hey, Greyhide, it's good to see you. I heard your voice from Tricky, and that if you came to the city, I think you may have came. The voice said it was maybe afraid that you came to the city for the wrong reasons, and that you don't need to actually, try to help her and stay out of the business and stay out of guild business." And then you chased it. It just said, "Okay, bye," and you chased it. And that's actually, I was surprised actually, because someone said how tall was it, and I said, "Oh, it's short, like not tall enough for a human." And immediately, Mark, you said, "Oh, that's a kinku." I'm like, "Damn, how do you get that so fast?" But now I think about it, maybe it was because
if it's too short, then it's like, then how to get the voice? And it's like, oh, obviously it's a kinku, right? Because it got my voice from another kinku, and then yes, and then as soon as we realized it's a kinku, then we started shooting at it. Kill it,
as you do. Yeah.
No, I wanted to interrogate it, so I used my bong, whatever.
You did a little damage to it, and then Zenokobe threw a fireball, did a little damage to it, and then Alpha did a little damage, but it added up, and then it fell into the sewer.
And then I had to go down there again.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice and gross.
Then I interrogated it some more. It basically said the same thing, that it's not authorized to give more information. So I knocked it out, then brought it back to the house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think I had to reveal to everyone that was interrogating me, who is Kira, blah blah blah. And
and they said some pretty raunchy things about you and Kira, assuming things. And then you revealed that it was your sister, and they're like,
I don't hold it against them, I don't hold it against them for guessing. I mean, they see me, a dashing, studly paladin. Of course, I'm very experienced with, and a real ladies' man. They just assume that, so I don't hold that against them. But yes, I reveal that Kira is my younger sister, who was taken by vagabond raiders who raided our farm, and when I was 12 years old, and Kira was only a mere 7-year-old, and then she disappeared forever. This is the first I've heard of her since all of those days.
You know, Rena, afterward, it was like I was telling her about the stuff that happened in the series, and then my wife, I should say, was asking about it, and then she said, how did he recognize her voice? I mean, she was only 7 years old when she escaped, and I was like, nah, people didn't question it, whatever.
Oh, true, oh, that's my 7-year-old sister's voice. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. Just some people.
But maybe I could have sort of pieced it together from the type of things that she was saying, and
true.
It was enough similarity, it's just it had the thing. So
I could have had you roll an insight and just, said, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what you roll as long as it wasn't a 1. Just be like, oh yeah, it's your sister. But because it wouldn't be a hard one. But
because Greg is God, so he can decide these things.
God. I'm also blue.
So I like your background, little lacy.
Oh yeah, so lacy.
Your little lacy.
He's fancy. It's quite fancy.
I know.
Where'd he go?
Very
I roll for stealth.
That's actually really frightening.
He's like so. It's amazing. You don't. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you see piece of him. It's like Poltergeist or something. Looks like this.
Amazing.
Wait, did anybody end up watching Arcane? Just curious.
No, I heard it was pretty good.
It's based on League of Legends or something.
It's
right?
very good.
I saw the
there's 6
preview
out of
on
9 episodes released.
Netflix. But I didn't watch it.
What's it called?
Very good.
Arcane.
Arcane.
I watch most
of
the videos they put out. They put out really high quality videos sometimes, kind of like SWTOR.
I watched Jungle Cruise with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on.
Was that good?
Disney Plus.
I did see it in theater. It's super fun.
It's very fun. Yeah, it's like
it's like a fun Disney
Indiana Jones romp, but it's actually it made I think it was the highest grossing Dwayne "The Rock" movie ever. Like
really?
it made crazy money in the States. Did terrible in China apparently, but did really well in the States.
Screw them.
To our moderator, yes, Arcane.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
I watched a little bit of Toast of London about a failing acerbic British actor who's a pervert and just kind of a jackass, and it was so funny. Highly recommend.
Based on a true story, Toast of London, or
probably I don't know.
Okay.
I
like movies about actors actually, and it's there's
so self-centered.
It's just an interesting topic,
as we are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's why you killed that mercenary, wasn't it? He said he didn't like actors, and you're just like axe to the face.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you could have unarmed striked him, Mark, but no, you had to use
I
your
rolled
axe.
a 20. I rolled a 20. I'm just swinging my axe, see what happens. 20.
To be fair, I think Mark was like 1 hit from dying too. So
yeah,
that's fair. Like we could have lost Mark and our quarry, all in one.
To be fair, if when he woke up, just sort of knocked him out again and not had a conversation, maybe we have to kill him.
Well, Alpha, we don't always have 2024.
But what about brain trauma?
Oh well, he already had brain trauma. He'd been.
Should we
had some trauma?
Should we have a house rule? Whenever you knock someone out, they have to roll a con save or get permanent brain damage.
No.
So all these times you're just knocking people out over and over, they just by the end of it,
anytime we try to intentionally knock someone out to subdue them. Yes, I think that's reasonable. Yeah. I just thought you talked anytime we got knocked out in a battle, we would additionally have to do a brain damage save as opposed to a death save.
Yeah.
It seems like a little much,
Fitz
I actually
would have
do
an
have
intelligence score of 5 by now.
I actually do have a house rule for being knocked out that I completely forgot about for this campaign. But whatever. Usually when my own personal campaigns, if you get knocked out, you get a level of exhaustion. And then you have to sleep it off basically.
What did we
That makes
do after we put the Kinku in the basement? Did we decide to go anywhere, or did we went one more place?
No, we didn't go anywhere, but the chipmunk showed up.
Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah,
delivered the potions. We delivered the potions.
Oh yeah, you did deliver the potions.
We delivered the potions to the schnitzel.
You went and picked up the potions. You asked about stuff.
Then we went and delivered the potions.
Oh, Alpha got on the way there.
Greyhide bought a pair of. Yeah, Alpha did not go back and go into the thing, so that Fitz could ask about the Red Wizard's crystal, which was no longer magical. So we found out it was a glyph. Mark Greyhide bought some stealth boots.
Yes, stealthy boots. And, we both got some healing potions. Yeah, which pretty much took away all my gold. Those boots, and thanks to Fitz, helped me negotiate a favorable deal on those boots.
Yeah,
right. And then
those boots, by the way, are a little bit better than I thought. They're the boots of Elvenkind. They do give you advantage on stealth, which since you have heavy armor, it's normal. But they also make it so your feet don't cause any noise. Like your footsteps are silent, completely silent.
I like it.
So I don't know, that might maybe
I legit could
come
use those
handy.
in real life because I'm a real heavy foot in the house. I walk around like a lummox, and my basement tenant sometimes threatens to move out.
But if you have metal armor and your feet are not making noise, you still make noise.
It's a mysterious clanking.
That's why it's still just a normal roll for him, because he would get disadvantage due to the armor, advantage due to his feet not making any noise. So overall, it just cancels it out, and it's just a normal roll after that.
I have about as much stealth as a normal person wearing sneakers.
Right.
Think of it that way.
Yeah.
So it sort of balances out.
Well,
not sneakers, like maybe Timberland work boots.
Well, minus the fact that you're probably not the most dexterous, so
I have decent dexterity.
That's true. You actually do have decent dexterity.
Yeah.
So you're actually about as stealthy, a little bit above average of stealthy, probably.
I'm Batman.
Are you proficient in stealth? I don't know if you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No. But I'm not bad. Like, cause I can be counted. It's like I was gonna try to do a sports analogy, but I remembered that I don't know any baseball players who post 1993. So I was gonna make like a Paul Molitor reference.
I only know one, and that's Jose Canseco, and I think he did drugs or something, right?
He's good, yeah. He was a Blue Jay for a bit. I'm a Blue Jays fan. I'm from Toronto.
Wait, so we did after that deliver the potions.
We're talking about baseball.
Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Subject. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just like, where do we go
That's
after
funny.
that? My voice.
Yeah.
Just
What Amalia's saying translated is, I don't care what they're talking about. I'm going to start thinking about the game again. Okay, I'm thinking out loud now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm glad we're not talking about baseball anymore.
To be fair, I don't know anything about sports.
I was going to make a sports analogy, and then I realized I'm like way out of my element here. I can't talk about anything post 1993, and But anyway, yes. Carry on, Amalia.
I mean,
I watched sports once. I was impressed.
Yes. Yeah, they're really good at sports.
So we delivered the potion. We made a point of saying hello to the woman in a purple cloak to make sure her voice didn't sound like Kira's voice, just in case it was Kira.
Definitely
because that makes sense. It would obviously be the woman who just told us not to be found. And it wasn't Kira.
This is that woman.
Yeah. Also noted that like in the store, we got a massive discount for being with Davil and
the Zentarum.
The Zentarum Guild. And then Greyhide is like, oh, can we get an extra discount because we're also with the Lords? And we're like, no.
That was funny.
Greyhide didn't do that. Mark did that.
Ixnay and the Lord Alliance or whatever.
Meanwhile, Alpha
Greyhide has more
outside
sense.
The store and is dying. She can't do anything about it. She doesn't know.
Yeah, that was great. But yeah, then we delivered the potions, went back, questioned Kinky Bastard, found out that Kira, realized that most likely Kira was with the Zenithar hiding in the sewers somewhere and was probably now a criminal. We were discussing whether she was mind controlled or not, and then a chipmunk told Alpha to go join the Emerald Hippie Ranger Druid cult.
I think you questioned the Kinku before you went to get the potions, right? I think, because we ended it, I think, with you going back to the manor where the squirrel came up.
Yeah, we
Okay.
put the
Yeah,
we put the
flip
king
that
in the
order.
basement while we went to do the potion thing, because we didn't know
Yeah.
what we hadn't decided what we were gonna do with him. So we had tied him up, put
Right.
him in the basement, and
Right.
then we went. To
So you
the
actually
potion,
haven't even
that
made
stuff.
it back to Trollskull yet. You're
Oh wait.
in-
Oh yeah.
you're
So like
in the area.
chipmunk was where?
You was
Which
just
is
in the
outside.
Trollskull alley, basically.
And why don't
Which
you
is-
draw in the emerald? Hold on, I wrote it down.
Oh, the Emerald Conclave.
Emerald conclave.
Yeah. You all have met half the guilds, I think. But that's
Well, we haven't met the Emerald Conclave, but we've now heard mention of
yes, you've heard mention of about
Although,
half
if
of
the
the factions.
if the chipmunk is part of the Emerald Conclave, I suppose we have met one of their members.
It's not technically.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. It was until the spell wore off and it told you the message.
Right. Then it's just like,
It's normal. Yeah.
That was, and then
You did a little
funniest part
chipmunk
is-
thing there. That was really cute, Alfred.
Yeah.
It's like you just did that for a second. When I did it, it wasn't as cute as when you did it. So.
your
funny part of
your
that-
screen is frozen a little bit.
Who's?
My
Yeah,
screen.
Greg.
Gray Heights.
It's not
Right,
frozen to
Greg.
me.
Oh yeah.
It's just frozen to me, but only yours. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Mm.
that happens sometimes.
You have bad internet.
Remember when Mark and I couldn't see Mike, but Amalia could see Mike? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's Alpha's passive perception is just really high. Again.
Yeah.
No. Was
But I
that
think
the end
that's
of
the
our
funny-
adventure, or was
that
there
was-
anything else that we did?
I think that was the
Oh,
end
that
of
was
it.
it. The chipmunk.
That was it.
Yeah,
What
you
I-
guys
what I
immediately
liked
said,
about-
"Oh, that chipmunk doesn't matter. We'll deal with it later."
Yeah, what I liked about the chipmunk is that Alpha leans down and starts talking to an animal. And of course, by this point, we've all seen her talk to rats. So we're just like, oh, that's just Alpha. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, it's talking to all of us. Okay.
Right. Oh wait, everybody can
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah. We just figured it was
Um,
Alpha doing her thing she does. Like,
Alpha is interested in the Emerald Conclave. Not that it's necessarily a priority to attempt to join, but
Yeah.
I should mention.
yeah. I think as the episode, we started arguing about whether to go after Kira or the Luskan pirates next, and then that was when the episode finished.
I think those are the two most immediate leads that you all have right now.
Yeah, the other stuff it'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, also keep in mind, the Luskan obviously they're suspicious. They've seen you all, well, other than Fitz, but
Yeah.
Fitz obviously thinks they know who he is. But but also keep in mind what what's his name said. Who's the owner of the bar? Yanni and Portal? Can't believe I forgot his name.
Durnan?
Durnan, thank you.
Durnan.
Wow, you knew that. Wow.
Yeah, no, wow. But the Durnan actually said, remember, if Xanathar, if they see you, they will never forget your face, and that you have to watch your back.
Right. So proceed with caution
Yeah.
when.
So both of them
Switching
are
places.
probably, they know your face. Whatever that means.
Yeah, that puts us at a disadvantage. I mean, the one guy from the Luskan ship saw me
Fitz-
saw me
Right.
with you guys and was like, "Who are those guys?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know them. I'm just wandering around drunk." Roll for persuasion. Roll poorly.
Deception.
Yeah, he didn't buy it. So like,
Also,
They know
Fitz,
something's
the
up.
only one who knows
It's gonna be hard
your
to just walk in
face
there.
is the guy in the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was friends with your pa, I believe.
So they've seen Fitz's
Yeah,
face, but
well,
not
he didn't.
like other face.
true, which means they might not know, like they might think that I'm actually the guy I should be that just is like betraying them or doing weird stuff. So we might have an edge.
Yeah.
Like I think what I'm gonna try really hard to suggest, what Fitz is gonna try to suggest is like, what if at least Fitz goes in with the ring on and pretends to be the guy he's supposed to be to try to get information. But that also sounds like a recipe for death, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, planning and
Well,
teamwork and good spell selection. Yeah, agreed.
We'll put it in the suggestion box.
We'll see. I mean, maybe that's not what he'll say. I don't know. I feel like based on what I know of him, that sounds likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have an N, I think.
Yeah, well, I know how he thinks. I understand Fitz.
I know
Yeah.
how Fitz thinks.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Anywho, I guess we
That's
can
a
end it
recap.
there, unless we have any other squirrels to go on a long tangent about. Hey, is that a new one?
whoa, is that new?
You listen to me, pirates. We be coming for you.
That's
Wow.
a cool sword. Not a rapier, but a very cool sword. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
This is actually a Chinese broadsword.
Yeah.
It's
Very
my
wobbly.
dad and I do a lot of martial arts, and this is
Right
technically his, but we both play with it.
Oh,
Tai
wow,
Chi
martial
sword
arts,
and a
so you can
katana
kick
over
ass
there.
Oh,
too.
it's safe.
Which martial arts?
What's that?
Chinese somehow? One of the Chinese martial arts, I'm guessing?
Well, it's actually a karate dojo, but they do
Oh,
a
really?
fair bit of Tai Chi. They, a few kung fu forms just for fun and variety. And their Kabuto program, which is the traditional weapons, is like, it's like the bow, the jo, the small sticks, but also
Yeah.
the Chinese broadsword, the samurai sword.
My teacher taught me a bit of Jodo, but like with using the Jo. But
Yeah.
it's a underappreciated weapon, I suppose. But yeah, I took Aikido for a few years, and I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. But then I took Hapkido, which I am a very big fan of. But
Really? So why Hapkido over Aikido?
Aikido has some major flaws. I think it's still based on traditional weapons that are no longer used, whereas Hapkido over the years has actually been continually refined to modernized. So Hapkido teaches you grappling, striking, and the non-resistant stuff that Aikido does, whereas Aikido is purely just non-resistant, like use their momentum against them type stuff, and that definitely has its limitations. So it's
Well, on that note, I don't know any karates or anything like that. I do some Tai Chi at home.
Let's go back to baseball.
No, I don't know baseball either. The only sport I understand and love is professional wrestling, and it is Monday night, so I'll have to
True.
check that out. I'll have
It
to
is
go
that
watch
time.
Monday Night Raw.
Maybe we can have Paul on one of these recaps if he wants to join us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Paul, our super fan. So, have a
Yeah.
good night, everybody.
Thank you, Puff Daddy. Thank you guys for
Night.
being in the chat. Good night, everybody. See you Thursday.
Thursday. Woo-hoo.
Okay, how do I end this? Oh. Hey.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Good time. Good